Again, celebration is not a reward that you earn at the finish line. It's the practice that keeps you in the race. It's the practice that keeps you in the race. And I want you to hear that again. It's the practice. Celebration is the practice that keeps you in the race.
Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I am your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this.
Well, hey, friends. Welcome back to Life Coaching for Mompreneurs. I'm your host, your CEO, Chief Encouragement Officer, Martine Williams. And before we get into today's episode, I want to ask you something. You've hit the goal, and then you immediately move on to the next one. Does that sound familiar? And in and of itself, that's not a bad thing. But here's what that habit of immediately moving on to the next one is quietly doing to your motivation, your momentum, and your belief in yourself. The truth, most high-achieving women are really great at doing the work and really, I don't want to say bad, but really challenged by honoring it. So today we're going to fix that. And I want you to sit with this for a second. Celebration isn't something you earn after you've done enough. It's something you practice so you can keep going. And what if the reason that you feel burned out isn't because you're doing too much, but that you're not acknowledging enough, that you're acknowledging too little? So again, I want to ask you something honestly, and I want you to actually answer it. So I find that a lot of us ask questions of ourselves, but we don't take time to answer them. So I want you to answer this. When was the last time you actually stopped and celebrated yourself? Not a quick yay me before moving on to your next task, not a scroll through your email to find the next thing that needs your attention, like a real intentional moment of recognition for you, your growth, and your progress. This has come up quite a bit in my coaching sessions with my private one-on-one clients this week. And so it really inspired me. It's been a while since we've talked about this here on the podcast. But when was the last time you celebrated yourself? This could be professionally or personally. If you had to think about that for a few more than 5 seconds, this episode is exactly for you. So let's get into it. Today, we are going to be talking about something that sounds simple, but it's actually one of the most overlooked success habits I see missing in high achieving women. And honestly, it's something that I've had to work on myself. We're talking about celebrating consistently, not just at the big milestones, not just when someone else notices, not just when everything goes perfectly, consistently, as a practice is what we're talking about, as a rhythm, as a part of how you lead yourself. So by the end of this episode, you're going to understand why you skip it, what it's costing you, and exactly how to build it into your life starting this week. So I want to paint a picture for you. She wakes up early, she gets the kids ready, she handles the email, she shows up to her business, or maybe a call, she closes the deal, she hits the goal, she checks the box. And by the time she's done with her day, she's already mentally on to the next thing. The win just kind of filed away, forgotten, already replaced by what's next. Does that sound like anyone you know? Maybe someone you see in the mirror? This is what I call the achievement treadmill. It's one of the most common patterns I see in high achieving women, especially entrepreneurs and mompreneurs, because you're always moving, you're always doing, you're always producing, but you're rarely pausing long enough to look at how far you come, to look at what you just did, to be proud, to be excited about what you just accomplished. And here's the thing, the treadmill feels productive. It feels like momentum, but underneath it, something is quietly eroding. Your motivation, your joy, your sense of meaning in the work. Because the sneaky thing about skipping celebration is your brain is always listening to how you treat your wins. It's always listening to how you treat yourself in the win. When you blow past a goal without acknowledging it, your brain doesn't file that under success, it files it under not enough. And over time, that becomes the story. No matter what you achieve, it never feels like enough because you've never stopped to say, this mattered. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so excited. I was just having a conversation with a client this week, and this was so foreign for this person to think about because they've been on that achievement treadmill for so long, like even to the place of a deep rooted identity. Like, I don't know who I am outside of my achievement and my achieving. And what I don't know what it would mean to slow down and to celebrate and to be content and to be excited. Like, it was wild to watch this person kind of like think through this concept. So I want to ask you, where does the I'll celebrate when show up in your life? Is it I'll celebrate when I hit six figures? I'll celebrate when I lose the weight, all the weight. I'll celebrate when the kids are older. I'll celebrate when things slow down or I get it right where I want it. The finish line keeps moving. We know this because celebrating was never really the plan, achieving was, and that's the trap. When the trap is just the achievement, then you never feel like you can give yourself the opportunity to celebrate. And this isn't really a discipline problem, and it's not really a motivation problem. For many of us, it's actually just, again, an identity problem, which is why so much of my coaching is around stepping into new identities, new self-concept as your business grows, as you evolve as a mom, as an entrepreneur. Because somewhere along the way, we picked up the belief that our worth is tied to our output and that doing more equals being more. And then celebration, pausing to honor what is, feels counterproductive to that wiring. So I want to challenge that today because that wiring is exactly what leads to burnout. And this client that I was talking to is in burnout and it never feels enough. And they're not celebrating any wins that I can clearly see, but it's because they're in this place. So let's flip the script entirely. Again, celebration is not a reward that you earn at the finish line. It's the practice that keeps you in the race. It's the practice that keeps you in the race. And I want you to hear that again. It's the practice. Celebration is the practice that keeps you in the race. This is not about ego. This is not about being boastful or prideful or stopping the work even, or throwing a party every time you send an email. This is about sustainability. It's about alignment. This is about a woman who leads herself well, who takes notice and acknowledges her wins. Hey friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure. It's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
Working with Martine has been nothing short of transformational. When I first started coaching with her, I felt really stuck and burnout and frustrated. And through her guidance, I've gained clarity and a deep sense of self-awareness that has touched so many areas of my life. Martine creates a space that is both safe and empowering, and she listens with intention, challenges with compassion, and helps you see possibilities where you previously only saw roadblocks. So if you're ready to grow, take bold steps, and connect more deeply with who you are and where you're going, I can't recommend Martine enough. She's a truly gifted and talented coach.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martinewilliams.com with 3 times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show. So the research tells us that, and I'll keep this simple because I know you're not here for like neuroscience lecture, but when you acknowledge a win, even a small one, your brain releases dopamine. That dopamine reinforces the behavior and makes you want to do it again. So when you celebrate consistently, you are literally wiring your brain to keep going. And on the flip side, when you skip the acknowledgement, you cut off that reward loop. And over time, you start to feel like you're running on empty and that it doesn't matter and it's never going to be enough, even when your results are strong. So I want to make a distinction that I think is really important here between recognition and reward. A reward is external. It's like the vacation, the manicure, the pedicure, the purchase, the party. And those are wonderful. And I 100% think you should do those things. Celebrate big. But recognition is internal. It's the moment that you say to yourself, I did that. That mattered. I'm proud of that. Recognition doesn't require money, time, or anyone else's validation. It requires your presence and intention in choosing to recognize yourself. And it's not even a question of whether you deserve to celebrate. You do. I'm telling you right now, you deserve to celebrate because you're doing things other people are not doing. You're taking chances and risks other people aren't willing to do. You're doing some maybe deep emotional work that other people are not willing to do. And that's not throwing shade at them. It's just, can you be proud of that? And can you practice that? Can you be willing to practice it? Which is what I was telling my client this week. I'm like, I know you don't journal, but could you just use your phone? And could you just every day, this was a win. Just start looking for the wins. Some of you are so far removed from celebration and recognition and winning that you're going to probably have to mine and dig for the win, for your brain to see it, because all it's seen up until this point is not enough. I'll celebrate win. And so we want to start being intentional, because progress markers versus finish lines is an important part of your journey. You can call them milestone moments, milestone markers, but progress is one of the number one motivators for people. Not money, progress. When you see your progress and you celebrate your progress, it gives you the dopamine hit and it helps you to see that what I do does matter. But most of us are only looking for the finish line. And I can be so guilty of this. When I get here, I'll feel this. When I do this, I can finally, relax or be proud of myself. You can bring any of those emotions up at any time you want to, at any time, just based on what you're thinking. And finish lines aren't a bad thing because they're visible moments of completion, right? But progress markers, those are the moments along the way that show you that you're moving, you're growing, and you're becoming. And they deserve acknowledgement just as much as the destination does. I think I've done a podcast episode on here on even goal setting based on activity, not just your results, not just your outcome. So this is kind of the same thing, celebrating the progress markers. You signed a client, progress marker. You showed up for the morning routine. Maybe you're adopting some of the Monday hour one stuff I've talked about. You showed up for that 3 days in a row. That's a progress marker. You had a hard conversation you've been avoiding. That's a progress marker. You said no when your old self would have said yes. That's progress. Are you celebrating that? Every step forward is worth noticing because you're moving forward. And the only time to look back is to see how far you've come and to be proud of that. So why this matters for aligned success, which we talk about here on the podcast, is understanding what aligned success looks like, because this is the work, again, I'm most passionate about. In the aligned success method that I teach, alignment isn't just about your schedule or your goals. It's about your relationship between who you are and how you're living. And here's where the celebration comes in. When you only celebrate at the end, you're only ever living in the not yet. You're always in pursuit and you're never in arrival. You're always becoming but never being. And that is an exhausting way to live. And this person is exhausted. No matter how much you love your work, if you're not acknowledging your wins and you're not taking time to acknowledge the progress and you're only waiting to celebrate to the end, like just imagine if as a mom, you only celebrated when your child took the first step, but you didn't celebrate every effort to get there. Or if you only celebrated when they got the home run, but you never celebrated all the effort and the practice and the things that they did, the progress that they made. You wouldn't do that to your child. You would celebrate every step of the way. So why do we do this to ourselves? Or why don't we celebrate ourselves? When you celebrate consistently, when you build acknowledgement into your rhythm, something shifts. You start living in the and. I'm building and I'm grateful. I'm growing and I'm proud of where I am. I am ambitious and I'm content in this moment. One of the fears of this person was, if I'm not striving and achieving, am I going to lose my drive? Am I going to lose my ambition? And that might be one of your fears. It's almost like holding some type of accountability over yourself is what it can feel like when you don't allow yourself to celebrate. But you can have both. That's alignment. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm so proud of where I'm not where I used to be, but I'm so proud of where I am now, right? And I'm not where I want to be yet. Like you can hold both of those things to be true. You're not going to lose your drive if you're celebrating. It's going to have the opposite effect. And that's what creates the alignment. It also connects deeply to one of my frameworks that I do with the progress over perfection, like helping you build out your POP plan. Because here's what I know about perfectionism. It's the enemy of celebration. It's the enemy of celebration. When you're waiting for something to be perfect before you honor it, you will wait forever because perfection doesn't exist. Progress is enough to celebrate. You are enough to celebrate right now in the middle of it. Before the goal is fully realized, I'm launching a new offer. You've heard me talk about it on here. I'm doing Illuminate You, the collective. This is my first time launching it. And I didn't hit my goal, but you know what? I see so many wins in this process. And if I only looked at the finish line, then I would be discouraged right now. But I'm very excited. And something that I think matters deeply, especially for those of you who maybe lead teams, raising kids, and you're like pouring into communities, how you treat your wins teaches others how to treat theirs. People are watching. Your kids are watching. Your coworkers are watching. When your team sees that you acknowledge progress, they learn that it's safe to celebrate theirs. When your kids watch you stop and say, I worked really hard on that and I'm proud of myself, they learn that self-recognition is a strength, not arrogance. Celebration is leadership, y'all. And it starts with you leading yourself. You go first. You go first on the team. You go first in your home. So let's get practical, because I know some of you are sitting here going, okay, Martine, I hear you, but how? How do I build celebration into like a habit? Quick pause. If you've been listening and you're ready to stop performing your life and start leading it, if you know you're ready to feel better now, not later, and you're ready for support that actually creates sustainable transformation, I have private one-on-one coaching spots open. And inside this coaching, in Illuminate You coaching, we don't guess. We use your unique personality blueprint built from the science-backed personality and performance tool called the ProScan, the one you've heard me talk about here in the podcast. This is used so that every decision, every boundary, every shift is designed specifically around your wiring, not someone else's. This is my aligned success method. It's not hacks. It's not try harder. It's not mindset glitter. It's a real solution. It's rooted in science, strategy, and your unique design. So you can lead your life as the woman you actually are, not the woman others expect you to be. Now is the time. Take the step. Book your clarity call at martinewilliams.com/clarity. All right, back to the episode. The first is the 3-question win review. This takes less than 5 minutes and you can do it daily or weekly, whatever works for your rhythm. I mean, honestly, I would do it daily to get that habit formed. But there's 3 questions. What did I do? Name the win. Out loud or in writing. Don't just think it. Get it out of your head and on paper or audibly out. What did you just do? Why does it matter? Connect it to something bigger. Your values, your vision, your people, your family. How will I honor it? This is where you choose your celebration, big or small. I'm not going to tell you what to do to celebrate, but how will you honor it? And that's it. There's 3 questions, but the practice of answering them consistently, that's where the identity shift happens. That's when you realize I'm going to celebrate. The second is micro celebrations versus milestone moments. Both matter. So hear me when I say that. Both matter. Both serve a purpose. Milestone celebrations are like your big wins. You hit a revenue goal, you finished the program, you made it through a really hard season. These deserve intentional, meaningful recognition. But what about the micro celebrations? These are your daily and weekly wins. Finishing a hard email. Like if you've not been writing emails, writing an email. Showing up when you didn't feel like it. Making a decision quickly instead of overthinking it. I just did this with Illuminate You Collective. I made a decision quickly and didn't get stuck in the mind drama of all the perfection and not having it all figured out. I'm celebrating that in a big way. Maybe you had a cup of your favorite coffee or tea and 5 minutes of quiet. That's a micro win, a micro celebration. A voice memo to yourself saying, I'm so proud of you today. A text to a friend that says, I did the thing. Small, consistent, and meaningful. Those are the micro celebrations, and they go a long way. And frequency builds belief. Consistency is going to build the belief. Consistency is going to build the muscle that you haven't been flexing. It's also going to build the importance of this. The more often you acknowledge your progress, the more deeply you believe in your own capacity to keep going. The more that you get excited about what you're doing. The more when something doesn't go your way, you can lean back on a celebration. And then the third thing that we're going to do, so the first one was the 3 questions, like the win review. The second is your micro celebrations versus just the milestone moments. And the third is to build it into your rhythm. If it's not scheduled, it's not going to happen. Y'all know this. If it doesn't get scheduled in, it's not happening, at least not consistently. Success is not an accident. So I want to encourage you to add a weekly win ritual to your rhythm. And this doesn't have to be an hour-long reflection time, a 30-minute reflection time. I mean, go for it if you want to do that. But at the end of every week, so part of the Monday hour 1 process is the Friday hour done. And so before you plan the next one, answer those 3 questions on Friday and write down at least 3 wins from the week. Maybe you stuck to your schedule. Maybe you stuck to your workout. Maybe you said no to that piece of cake. And yes, getting through a hard week is a win. Surviving and keeping going is a win. Mayhem is coming up. And I know many of you are going to be surviving mayhem. End of the year, end of the school year. I've got a senior graduating and other things to plan and business to run. But so sometimes it's just the surviving and keeping going is a win. If you're already using some of the things that we've talked about as far as like the rhythm reset in your life, this is a natural addition to your weekly review. Make celebration a part of your close for the week, not an afterthought. If you do this daily, I think the book was The Gap and the Gain, and he talks about he's done this for over 40 years, is at the end of every day, he writes 3 things down that he's celebrating. And then he also writes 3 things down that he's going to accomplish the next day because there's some science around writing those things down. Your brain goes to work even while you're sleeping to help you to come up with ideas to accomplish those tasks. Pretty cool. So, and finally, I want you to find your celebration style. Not everyone celebrates the same way, and that's okay. But here are some options. Verbal acknowledgement. Say it out loud to yourself or someone that you trust. I just had a client text me today that she got her very first coaching client. And she acknowledged herself and then she shared it with me. It's amazing. Journaling, write the win and why it mattered. Go back to those 3 questions. Sharing, again, tell your community, tell your family, tell your business bestie, tell your team. Maybe it's a physical marker, move something like light a candle, cross it off, ring a literal bell if that's your thing. I remember at TGI Fridays, they used to have a bell when someone would get a tip, right? So like do something physically to mark this celebration. Or maybe it's a sensory reward, your favorite coffee, a walk outside, a few minutes of music that you love, a car jam session. But find your celebration style. And don't overthink this. Don't overthink it. Just get started. The method matters less than the intentions. What matters is that you stop, you see the win, and then you honor it. So here's what I want you to take away from today. You are not on a treadmill that you have to keep running to earn your worth. You are a woman who is doing meaningful work, and that work deserves to be seen by others, yes, but first by you. If you don't value yourself and celebrate yourself, we can't expect other people to do that for us. It's an added bonus when they do that. But do you see yourself right now? Do you see your wins? Do you see how far you've come? Do you see the progress that you're making? And then are you honoring that and celebrating it in some way? Because I firmly believe celebration is not optional. It's not vanity. It's not weakness. It's one of the most important and powerful acts of self-leadership that you can practice that just gets left out. I see this all the time in my clients, and I see it in the rooms that I'm in with other women in masterminds. They struggle with this because we're so high achieving. We're on that achievement treadmill. So this week, I want to challenge you to practice the 3-question win review at least 3 times and notice what shifts. Notice how you feel about your work. Notice how you show up. And then I want you to come tell me about it because your wins matter to me too. And the other thing I want you to start noticing is when you go to celebrate, the buts that come in, like the chatter that comes along aside. I did this, but, and then fill in the blank. That's what this other client was doing. I'm like, tell me a win. And he would tell me a win, or she would tell me a win. And then there was always this like backstory that they attached to it. They couldn't just celebrate the win. So notice when your brain offers you that too. Notice when you celebrate, but then it's kind of like when someone gives you a compliment and you're quick to like downplay it. We got to stop that, y'all. Number one, it's insulting to the person who's giving you the compliment. And it's also reinforcing these negative beliefs and this not enoughness. So you can come tell me on Instagram at Martine31Williams, the number 31 Williams, or you can shoot me an email at martine@martinewilliams.com. You were not made for stressed, empty success. You were made for the kind of success that feels as good as it looks from the inside out. And that's a you thing. That's an alignment thing. And that's what we're building here together on the podcast. And I'm so thankful for all of you who have continued to to show up on the podcast and listen and share this. So if you know someone who you know does not celebrate themselves, send them this episode. So again, I want to hear your win this week. I mean it. Drop it in an email to me or drop it. Come find me on Instagram. Send me a DM. It's always me in the DMs. I don't have any mini chat or bots or anything going. It's always me. So that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for being here today. If this episode again spoke to you, share it with a woman in your life who needs permission to stop and celebrate herself. That might be the most powerful thing that you can do today. So until next time, I am believing in you always.
Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.